Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Bacon Battalion. Now, in our previous episode, a rather unusual alliance has been forged by our wonderful players on behalf of Lord Elgin, Warchief of the Barbarian Hordes. And our party finds itself aboard the Shatkinder, the great war vessel of the warlord Blackhearth, the goblin leader with which they have struck an alliance. It has taken the ship a week to journey north through the Telantari ocean. The goblin ships are not built for speed, and there are frequent stops to repair a sudden hole that appears in the hold. You have each been assigned a different division of goblins to work with. Nalisa, the concubines. You now can write down that you have basic goblin as a language.
But by basic, is it just,
basic.
Oh yes, no, not there.
Wrong hole. Yes, something like that.
Basic sexy goblin.
If there is such a thing.
I'm writing basic sexy goblin.
Kalasi, you have been training the warriors in combat. What you have discovered is that initially you tried to train them as one-on-one warriors. That failed dismally when you killed 6 by mistake. The repercussions, however, were far less than you anticipated. It was mostly raucous laughter, accompanied by pick me, pick me, pick me, because they all wanted to prove themselves. However, once they started to work as a net of goblins sort of throwing themselves over their targets, the objective seemed to be accomplished a lot more efficiently. Although you were sent, you weren't sure why you were sent where you were sent, because your goblin was not very good. You now also have basic goblin, by the way. You found yourself working with lots of livestock, kind of like a boar type of creature. And the goblins seemed intent on showing you how they killed them and then how they cooked them.
Does it help that I handle animal?
As a matter of fact, it does. You showed them a much more efficient way of killing boars. Apparently, letting the boar gorge itself on goblins and then stabbing it when it was too fat to move around is not the most efficient way of killing a boar. And so within the week that you've spent on the ship, you've managed to improve the goblin cuisine quite sufficiently, and the longevity of the cooking staff as well.
Does this mean I get, when I level up, I get proficient cook?
You do indeed.
Yes.
Of goblin cuisine.
Oh, god damn it.
It's like fast food.
Yes,
They're
deep
goblins.
fried, lots of breadcrumbs, yeah.
If you fry anything long enough, it tastes okay.
There you go.
Well, look, you've already been converted to goblin cooking.
There you go. As for yourself, you were supposed to teach the goblins about stealth, which certainly happened, except there wasn't a lot of teaching required. The goblins are naturally stealthy anyway. All you had to do was just make them stop talking. Because they were very excited. But your assistant, a goblin by the name of Macfit, showed you how to make the goblins stop talking. You cut their tongues out.
I knew he was going to say that.
After 3 goblins, the rest of them decided it was better to be quiet than to lose their tongues. The 3 whose tongues were cut out on your behalf have now become very loyal servants who follow you around doing anything and everything for you. You think the one's name is Flucker. And so your week has
Who's
passed.
your mother, Flucker?
No, you didn't.
It had to be done. Someone had to do it.
Someone had to do it. It got done. And so we find
This
ourselves...
is what audience participation is for. You don't have to make the joke. They can make it for themselves.
Or
No,
not.
But now they
Yes,
can
we
agree
can't
with
win,
me
you
in
guys.
the like, comment, subscribe. They can be like, yes, Nalisa's jokes, best jokes. Right now, typing. I'm watching you. Good.
Okay. So after the week of training and kind of coming to terms with Goblin Society, for lack of a better word. You have, in the far distance, the first sighting of Fell Deep Isle. And it's not perhaps as gigantic or as impressive as you had hoped. It is a rather flat spit of land in the middle of the Telantari Straits, which lead out into the great ocean beyond. There is a single tower that punctuates north up into the sky, maybe 12 or 13 stories high. Fairly well made, jet black, square in shape, with sort of side buttresses that spider up towards its upper heights. The ships, however, have come to a stop, and Blackarth has assembled you, plus most of the goblins not busy working on other things, so just several thousand of them. 3 of the ships have made it this far. The one ship, unfortunately, got a nasty case of not water tightness and sank. Those goblins have now moved across. It wasn't seen as a great tragedy, it was seen as a monthly occurrence.
This modular shipbuilding thing they do seems to actually be relatively efficient.
In a way. In a way.
As I like disentangle myself from my class, you hear me saying, "And that is how you use rope." And I wrap my rope around myself again. That's obviously the advanced candidates. Guys, I bought this rope. I'm very impressed.
When you lose that rope one day, you're gonna cry so hard.
Blackarth addresses you in Goblin, since he's now aware that you have started to pick up Goblin. You have all proven yourselves very trustworthy. We had expected betrayal, lies, deceit, and yet nothing came. This is probably good. Now, we've got you as far as Fell Deep, which is what you originally requested. What's the plan?
I look to our 2 leaders.
I'm wiping stuff on my my blood-soaked, leather, half-torn apron thing. What? What did I miss? Something about buttresses.
We should go scout or something.
Yes, we should go. What? Why are you talking to me?
We should send a scouting party and establish a safe landing area.
Just you 4?
And Stealthy McStealth's friends of his.
I think just me and a couple of my men at first.
Nobody say what I care.
We'll be careful. And
We'll
we'll I'm not planning on getting into any fights.
Okay, so it's a
just wanna
scout. Fine. He doesn't think we're stealthy. He's very wrong. So wrong, Kalasa. Very stealthy.
The Goblin Captain is about to acquiesce, you think, because he's kind of nodding sagely and listening, when a goblin that you have not seen before comes shuffling out of the shadows. It basically looks as if he simply crawled inside a wolf from the back end and just put the skin on and stuck his head out the head of obviously very surprised wolf, and then just let the skin dry around him, because it's very manky, very caked in, you're not entirely sure what.
I think I prefer the stones.
And he comes shuffling up. He's obviously very old. He was maybe 2.5 foot tall, if that, but kind of bent really over. And he shuffles up to the Lord, whispers something, and then shuffles back into the darkness.
Can I do a perception check to see if I can hear what he says?
You can strain. Go for it. It was very, very quiet.
I've got grease in my ears.
Amongst other things. The Warchief looks up and he says, "Our venerable sage has pointed something out to me. Our alliance. It is not formal. As representatives of the Warchief Elgin, there needs to be some kind of concrete between us. Something to solidify this glorious alliance of ours before we can even proceed."
In Catfolk, I say to Kalasa, "The brooch, we give Killian the brooch, then Killian gives them the brooch. Then Killian gave the brooch."
When I change alignment, people are gonna cack themselves.
You don't know this, you don't speak Catfolk.
No, I don't. My character obviously does.
But you don't have the brooch.
Don't we?
You gave it to the operative that you shot in the
Yeah.
alley.
Yeah,
Oh, we did.
Remember?
Oh, thank you.
because it would only bring us misfortune.
Is that what you... Okay, so Kalasa kindly reminds me of that. Oh, that was such a good plan, though.
What rituals do you have for cementing alliances?
Knowledge history. Can I knowledge history to know what they would know? Sort of like what stories they would have heard about our...
The goblins.
Yeah, like what sort of...
Well, first you work out what you normally would use, and that can be either knowledge history or nobility.
Okay. I'm going to use knowledge history because...
Sure.
And then we're not going to do that. So then they won't know it's not legit or non-legit. 25?
Traditionally, it's the signing of a document and then the marriage.
Okay, so I'm going to say to them in common, I'm going to say, I think they want us to sign a piece of paper and possibly one of us to marry someone. I say person who is of most marrying age.
Listen. She's a slave. Okay? We should marry the slave off. I'm just saying.
Class, did you hear what he just said about you?
The cat belongs to me. We're not selling it off to anyone.
I'm not getting married. Hell no. No.
I
Goblins is
like
against my
shift a little
religion.
closer to the. This is fine.
Marrying goblins is against my religion.
So, a piece of paper. Can we...
It's a document.
Right.
Marriage certificates, basically.
Does somebody have something sort of officially sealed looking?
I can.
Like something that we picked up that might...
I have the dagger, that fancy silver dagger.
Can we fake a thing where we stab the dagger through the document to make it official?
You hear from the shadows a voice. And wise it is to speak in the presence of those that understand your language. When speaking of alliances with lords, one does not generally use the terms fake.
You're just kidding.
Okay, I'm gonna
Bye.
diplomacy. I'm gonna be like. I'm gonna diplomacy. No, I'm gonna bluff. It makes more sense to bluff. I'm gonna say, no, it's mistranslation. He speaks so many languages. He used fake for legitimate. It's like one of those, the prefixes, suffix. It's very complicated in Elvish. Yeah, 26. And then I'm like,
Pull the other one. It's got bells on.
Oh.
holy crap.
You are not what you propose to be, are you?
No, we are. We just did not say that we were allowed to make alliances for Elgin, but we are. Everything else is true. Also, if we do need to marry someone, I suggest Gita. She's really good and she knows how to use rope. I say she'll be a very nice person.
Do you understand what my lord would do if he discovered your deception?
So there's guys in the
we
shadows.
saw a-
Goblin in the shadows, eh?
We saw a couple of
Opportunities.
hedgehogs on the ship, so we understand what your lord would probably do.
Indeed.
I feel like there's a reason you haven't told him yet.
Perhaps. Agree to whatever the warlord suggests. And then we will speak later.
And
Who-
what is
who are-
name of
Who are we
voice?
talking to?
Why should we
Just a voice
trust
in
you?
the shadows.
We have had a bad experience with things from the shadows and things covered in fur.
I may be your only friend on this vessel. Or perhaps enemy.
I rest my case.
The warlord's like, so, what are we doing?
Peridor, what are we doing?
We are just busy
Talking. Yes.
talking. Yes.
Yes.
Talking.
I don't think Sage has said that much in a long time.
Talking about what to write in the paper that will seal the alliance
And Sage
between us.
And Sage was saying Gita is very good choice for Killian's marriage.
Killian is not getting married, I say from like further back.
A marriage? Why would that cement any kind of alliance?
Okay.
How do your people usually cement alliances?
War! One tribe conquers another. The conquered tribe is now in alliance with its master tribe.
Should maybe we have a small war. We have a war between Killian, who is our worst warrior, and one of your best warriors.
Yes!
Four!
Translation
Or
of-
four
We're
of
going
your
to
best
war!
warriors.
Yes,
Translation,
yes,
I was-
yes.
No, I'm too dangerous.
It will be a great war. Don't worry, we'll put you against our biggest one too. That way you can show them just how strong you are.
Guys, I don't fight like that. Okay. I think our fearless leader should do the job.
No. We don't want to
I'm
discard.
gonna go against his diplomacy to freaking convince her that she should fight instead.
You want to fight?
I don't say anything. I'm just like listening to the whole thing like,
Come on, baby.
13.
I have a better plan. Since you are all tribe, you fight together. Yes.
Okay, that's a bit better.
Then your tribe defeats our warriors, and we are then in an alliance.
How is
And
there?
there's no need for this silly little marriage thing. Why would you want to marry someone?
And then I look at Gita and I'm like, I'm sorry, I tried.
So now you're the goblin pimp.
No, matchmaker.
Oh,
Okay,
You mean,
don't be
you
gross.
mean
man.
madam.
You don't
You're a
deserve
madam.
Gita.
You're a madam.
Gita's too good for
You're a
you.
goblin madam, okay? Just accept it
Too
now.
good for you.
The Warchief is so excited of a war because you kind of get a sense that's really what he does. He likes war. And for a week, he hasn't had war. He's kind of, there are a couple casualties here and there, but they don't count. His quota for the month is down. So he kind of goes skipping off, singing an old goblin song about war, and it's basically just titled War. And off he
Hey, it's
goes.
that Ken Lee one I sang.
Yes.
Which I can now actually sing as Can't Lee. Because it's not as... Okay, never mind.
So
Crickets.
the four of you are left in this audience chamber of his, and out of the shadows steps that wolf-clad old man. How have you managed to survive so long?
I think it's down to something called singing.
With great luck.
I agree. The Warchief is not an idiot. The moment you are destroyed on that island, he will see what has happened, and most likely take it as a betrayal of the barbarian warlord. And Elgin is no idiot either. The moment he sees sails coming across the bay, he will assume the goblins are attacking his castle, which by the sounds of things have already been under attack by the undead of Fell Deep, which would make their goblin assault even more well-timed. Strike whilst the barbarians are weakest.
Or they're really cross,
But-
so maybe not best idea.
But didn't the goblins strike against the barbarians like 3 weeks ago as well?
It was a small skirmish party.
Oh.
This will not end well.
Sure.
Blackath will pull in favors from the other hordes and then attack en masse. If he can't take Fell Deep, Fort Brast is an equally beautiful prize.
So what you're saying is we need to succeed and work together. Yeah, we're gonna fail.
No, that would be silly.
Oh.
I'm not an idiot. What I am saying, however, is that the fate of the barbarians rests in your hands. We need to tread delicately.
No pressure. Thanks for that.
You're so welcome.
And our fate pretty much hangs in the barbarians' hands. So really it kind of balances out.
In a strange kind of way, it might make one religious.
Might do that.
Now, I am helping you because I know that my brothers in arms are not as well geared for war as they might have been. Although with your assistance, I'm fairly certain they are now much better trained.
Since my turn.
Sure.
16. Blech.
It's difficult to tell, but you think he's being serious.
Okay.
So, I help you out of wanting to keep my tribes alive. You help me out of wanting to keep yourselves alive, and your barbarian lords, which you seem to work for. I am perplexed by you, however, half-orc.
What?
Why did you choose to stay with the humans? Surely there was a certain amount of animosity towards you. Why not travel back to the great Orc war host?
Oh no, the story is very different. Tell him how much your parents loved each other. A lot.
Yes, Mother told us great stories of how a prince came and fell in love with her, and it was for the best that I stayed with Mother to learn human ways and be a great barbarian.
Oh, time is running very quickly. We need to make plans.
I'm gonna go check on the stew quickly. Just cause.
No, don't check the stew. Stay.
So, I suggest you proceed with your plan of scouting Fell Deep. But do not underestimate the necromancers. They have been there far too long and have protected themselves against many incursions before. There is one pathway which I suspect may or may not be open to you. However, I think it could be problematic. If what you said is true about the box that devours.
Yeah. It was went into the ocean. But when I last saw it, it was growing scales. It wasn't like very box-like.
Do any of you know who Lord Braineshlin is?
No.
Knowledge history.
Yeah, I'll make a roll.
Your new knowledge history is so useful. 17? No,
Nope.
14, sorry.
Never heard of him.
No.
He is lord of the merfolk of the Talentari Bay. If there is another way into Fell Deep, he will know it. Whether he will share it with you or not, as I do not know. But you have the Goblin war host ready to attack. And that is something. I will advise the Warchief how to act next.
Now we just need this small war,
Alliance.
apparently. We just need to survive
Oh, yes.
this small war.
Just survive it, and then we can make plans.
Okay.
Survived him so far, I'm sure we'll be fine.
Perhaps. When Bravik spoke of you, he spoke slightly higher of your warrior here than you do. But nonetheless, go and have your little war. He goes scurrying off.
They spoke about me?
It's Bravik. Guys, did I forget
It's that
he's
dude.
Bravik?
It's that dude who I beat.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
That guy.
He spoke of you? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so what are we going to do for preparation? Maybe we I don't know. Make tactic. You know, you fought them. Let's make tactic. What is best tactic?
Don't stand alone.
Okay, we all stand together. Pom pom.
Hurry up.
Yes. Now you're getting it. Everybody all together.
What
As-
y'all doing?
I'm gonna go and get my stuff out of storage.
Hmm.
And I'm going to. I've grown quite fond of this one cleaver while I was working.
Yeah.
I'm going to sharpen and polish that. A couple of cleavers there. Like, actually, there's two of them.
As a matter of fact, why don't you make for me an animal handling check?
Okay. Animal. +5.
Yeah.
Not bad. Pretty bad. 7.
You rolled a 2.
Oh, 2.
And get gored by a boar.
You do get gored by a boar. But you now have a follower. One of the chefs was impressed by your actions. Your little follower's name is Mopskey.
Mopskey.
And Mopskey has taken a shining to you. Mopskey treats you as a hero chef. He believes the aromas and the flavors that you manage to imbue in the meat is something phenomenal. And as you are exiting the grand audience chamber of the Warchief, presumably heading off to go and make plans for your little war, Mopskey comes skipping up to you and hands you a cleaver,
Oh, okay.
which he kind of sheepishly kind of holds it out to you like that.
Thank you, Mopskey. What is this?
It's special!
This is special.
Yes! Look, look! He points at the handle. The handle is the tusk of one of the boars.
Oh, ooh.
Had it made for you, just nice.
Oh, nice.
Sharp, sharp.
This looks like the one that stabbed me in the leg the other day.
It is.
Oh. Well, you know, he deserved it. This is very nice. You did a good job, Mopsy. Thank you. How's the food going?
He turns around and scurries off.
Damn it, Mopsy!
I've told you so
Damn
many
it!
times.
You look at the cleaver blade and you realize that this is not what most of the cleavers are made out of, which is pig iron. This is made out of the blade of... It looked like it was a sword once. The tip, the point has been snapped off to give it the more cleaver-like shape. But
square shape, yeah.
yeah, but it is definitely the blade of a sword.
Oh, that's nice. Can I like spellcraft?
You can.
Like, oh. No, I can't. 9. I can never spellcraft shit.
You can never help me when I really want you to help me.
Just stab something and you'll know what it does.
Okay, stand there for a second. Let's see what happens. Maybe this will help us spellcraft.
You asked the wrong man.
You You smell fish.
You're
Just wafting past as you make that suggestion.
I go to fetch my rope and my dagger
all right.
and my whip, which I take the feather off the end of its
Okay. All around you, the goblins are singing chants and sort of saying, "It's a war! It's a war! It's a war!"
It's good that they're excited.
Oh, they are. Oh, very much so. And they lead you to a part of the ship that you haven't really seen before, which is not surprising. There are crannies and nooks and holes everywhere. But basically, they lift up a trapdoor, and inside is this fairly large cavernous space. It must be about 4 stories high, just inside the hull of the ship. And around it, there are balconies is the wrong word because that implies that there's a certain structural integrity to these things that are just sticking out over the edge. It's kind of boards, and the goblins stand on the front of it, then goblins have to stand on the back of it to stop it from collapsing in. And there's ropes and chains hanging all over the place. Different banners. You sort of look around, you can see there's a human banner that's kind of tattered and torn. There's an elvish banner from the 3rd invasion. So it's about 400 years old, 500 years old, kind of hanging up there. But in the very center is a mostly circular square, hexagon thing, shape, that's been made. It's kind of like an arena space. They obviously thought that square would be the first best shape to make it, and then realized that they had 8 or 9 corners. So adjusted and added and tweaked, and it's a shape. You are led to one edge where there's a ladder that goes down into it, so it's this pit that you're going to be going into. And the Warchief appears in a bigger balcony that's got a couple of poles supporting it and that kind of thing. And he raises up his hands, and the throng of goblins just kind of hush down. Now, there are several thousand goblins gathered. They're gathered from all of the ships to watch this great battle.
To all the tribes gathered here, we are about to welcome a new tribe into our fold, an alliance of historic occasions with the tribe of Elgin.
There's thunderous applause, shrieks, laughter. 3 goblins fall over the balcony and explode down into the pit below you. There's laughter that kind of ripples around that area. You see Mopskey kind of skipping around with trays of meat, handing it out to revelers who kind of take it and start gnawing on it. And
because they are great warriors who have been training our finest,
and he kind of points a hand over, and they're all your concubines, and they kind of rip their shirts open and jiggle their breasts around, and everyone kind of goes crazy wild.
Yeah, nice work. Well done.
You're
Then he
doing
kind
so
of-
good, Gita. Best in class.
She's like, "Ah!" and then rubs her tits.
I'm going to tell Mopskey to tap it. Mopskey, you got to tap that.
I'm going to cut it off with the cleaver.
Leave Mopskey alone.
Anyway,
facing them will be the warriors that they themselves have trained to demonstrate their power. Great half-orc.
Yes.
and then he points over at the 6 that you were training. Well, you were training about 20 or 30, and they kind of whittled down to 6. Those 6 are standing there. And you realize that when he was saying they were training, it was not who you were training, it is who the 6 you were training were training. And they step aside, and there's 6 of those big, double-sized brutes standing there with kind of the blank faces. You never got to train any of them, because what you picked up during the period was that they don't really think much. They just do. So training them is like training a rock.
We're going to be in trouble, guys. Just saying.
Just to confirm,
and
this is a
there's
new
pause.
day. I still have spells. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, only your allocated amount of spells.
I have 4.
No
You
extra.
don't get to save them up for the week and use them all on one day.
I haven't used spells for a week, so I got 15 today.
Guys, it's very confusing, the book. Okay.
Nonetheless,
Read good.
With the coming together of these two tribes, our great war host will be the most powerful in all of the Goblin lands, and then we will crush everybody!
the crowd just goes ballistic.
Does his skin turn red because
He's
he's so
literally
excited?
just, yeah.
I'm like, these guys clearly overestimate us a lot.
Killian, we don't want negativity just before.
Yeah, the arena is just going mad with goblins jumping up and down and screaming and shouting cheers. There's a chorus of the war song that breaks out over there and it kind of ripples around this way.
Just to be sure, there aren't 6 more goblins, small goblins hiding behind the 6 big ones
No,
that
no,
we
no.
also have to fight.
No.
Oh, okay.
What about the ones that you trained, the sneaky ones?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
Maybe they
checking.
stealthed in with us.
That is
hey?
an interesting question.
The Warchief holds up his hands again.
But that is not all. For joining in the fight, if we can ever find them,
Thank you.
are the ones that the one known as the Silent One trained. Stealthy super killers who will lead our cause deeper into the Orcish war host than ever before. We shall strike from the shadows if we could find them. Does anybody know where Clummy and his people are? Anybody?
Perception checks.
You can. There's 20,000 perception checks going on around the room.
13, I don't see shit.
7.
17.
Nope.
5.
Nope.
We're like, there's a lot of goblins in this room.
So many.
There are. Maybe
There are many of them. Everyone. It's the only sound you hear is the lapping of water on the sides of the holes elsewhere, as everybody goes really quiet and looks really hard.
These ships must be massive.
We don't notice
They are.
because all goblins look the same to us.
Well, one day they'll show up, and then we shall take our rightful land as true goblin lords of the continent. And it is because of our great alliance with the Elgin that we have this power. So, let us cement this glorious union. Begin the combat!
And everyone goes mad. All the way around. The 6 big ones sort of lumber forward and jump into the pit.
Hey guys, this is Barador. Please like, comment, and subscribe so our GM doesn't kill us. Because we like doing this and we don't want to die.